Hello and welcome back. I'm Scott, and if you're new to the channel, we are BikeRide.com, bringing you awesome e-bikes with all the info you need to make an informed decision. This week, we're taking a deep dive into the Himiway Zebra. Why is it named the Zebra? That's a stat I can't get to the bottom of. But with a top speed of 25 miles per hour, this 750 watt hardtail e-bike will have you cruising over open ground at high speed. High speed is one thing, but will this bike have the range to back it up? It's time to put the Zebra through the paces with our regular round of tests. And a bike like this likes to get out in the wild. So let's take it out on the trail and see how it fares. Stay tuned for the POV footage from the trail coming up later. The Himiway Zebra is a large 79-pound hardtail e-bike, and it's outfitted with 4-inch tires and a suspension fork. The brand claims 79 pounds, but we found it was closer to 87 with all this stuff on it. It was made to take advantage of varied terrain, and riding it over terrain such as loose gravel is very comfortable. The unit we received is outfitted with a rear rack, headlight, taillight, and fenders, making it a comfortable and robust bike for commuting or recreational riding with gear. This is probably also why it weighed a few more pounds. The package is rounded off with a sizable 20 amp hour battery for extended trips. So let's get things started with the pros. Our first pro for this bike is a large battery capacity. The Zebra comes equipped with the 20 amp hour battery, allowing you to push further on your daily commute with less range anxiety. The bike powered us for almost 35 miles on its maximum assist setting, with the speed limit cranked all the way up to 25 miles per hour. It's a fast and powerful bike with the capacity to match. If you turn that assist level down, you can expect a huge maximum range. The company claims up to 80 miles. It's great to see this 20 amp hour battery coming standard on the bike, because some other brands with similar motors and styles offer a smaller standard battery with a 20 amp hour version as an upgrade instead. For our second pro, we have the powerful 750 watt motor. The motor on the Zebra really makes short work of steep inclines and hills. So if you're looking for the perfect companion on an aggressive hilly ride, I would reach for the Zebra. It's a motor that really likes to push, and while its controller is not tuned for aggressive torque right off the line, it has more than enough power to push you to the 25 mile per hour speed limit on this model. Now for our third pro. We have a confident ride over rough terrain. While it's definitely not a mountain bike, the Zebra is more at home off the pavement than it is in tight city spaces. Large 4-inch tires with aggressive tread and a front suspension fork offer enough cushion to handle more minor bumps. And I was especially impressed with the bike's ability to float through loose gravel and dirt. Even at the top speed of 25 miles per hour, the Zebra is fun to ride off pavement, and it's very confidence inspiring. So if your commute offers some gravel path, it's time to explore. The Zebra will zip through double track. With its throttle, I was actually very surprised how capable it was in tighter trails, as you were able to move your body and use the throttle to limit your pedaling. You will find its limits quickly though, as it is a heavy weight and size make it kinda hard to maneuver in tight sections where there's steep ups and downs. But the bike is a ton of fun in anything more open. And for our fourth pro, we have cargo carrying capacity. The Zebra is able to carry 400 pounds of total payload, which is the rider and gear, and it's a surprisingly sturdy e-bike with a robust frame welded together from 6061 aluminum. The rear rack is also sturdy and extends the bike's cargo space, with enough room for a bag or a crate to sit comfortably behind the rider. The bike could also be outfitted with a front rack to increase the capacity even more. And if you're looking for a bike to load with gear on your next ride, the Himiway brings the gear capacity for any adventure. Now we've got to take a look at the cons. Starting off with con number 1, we've got a slow cadence sensor. The cadence sensor on the Zebra is a little bit slow to kick in, taking almost a full rotation to kick in for the motor. This makes getting started from a dead stop a little bit challenging when using only the pedal assist feature. The throttle was a great option, and I found myself throttling up from a dead stop before I would swap to pedal assist after getting going. This ensured I had enough time to get that full rotation in and activate the motor. Otherwise, it could be a little bit frustrating. For con number 2, we've got an assist level 1 that felt very overpowered. The stock assist settings seem to cater more to high-speed riders than most e-bikes. Right out of the box, you'll find the lowest assist level 1, speeds you along at almost 12 miles per hour. It's faster than most and almost double the speed I'd like to see in a really heavily congested area. This can be adjusted in the advanced user settings, but this requires a password and a little bit of advanced knowledge, so it would be nice to see a more balanced power distribution straight from the factory. I should be entering a password to add power, not to remove it from lower assist levels. And 12 miles an hour is quite quick when you've got dogs or people in a congested footpath, and that's where I'd be using that level 1 setting. Now let's take a look at con number 3. This is a heavy bike with large tires. As I point out on most e-bikes that are more than 60 pounds, the Zebra is no lightweight. Coming in at 79 pounds from the factory, almost 87 in its actual weigh up, its weight and overall size can really make it a challenge to maneuver compared to a conventional bike. Lifting this onto a bike rack could be challenging, and its large tires require a rack suited for fat bikes. The bike will not be easy to get upstairs, into an elevator, or indoors, so expect to store it on ground level. And when you're out riding, the weight's not generally noticeable. But on tight trails with many ups and downs, it can become a challenge, especially over roots and rocks. And finally, those tires mean that the bike corners in a wide arc, and the higher the speed, the larger your turn's gonna be. So what does it do best? I love how the Zebra rides over loose gravel and dirt, with 4-inch tires well suited to floating over off-road terrain. It's a heavy bike that's definitely confidence-inspiring to ride at speed, and that speed is easily found with a well-sized 750-watt motor on the unit. I really had a blast riding the Zebra on back roads and gravel paths with a large battery capacity that left you eager to explore further without the range anxiety. And who should buy this bike? The Zebra is a fine match for recreational riders looking for a robust, fat tire bike for adventures and outings. With the ability to conquer various types of terrain and a huge range, the bike could also make a happy commuter, so long as you have space to store the bike without having to cram it into some tight spaces at either end of your journey. It's an e-bike I would expect to see in the wide open spaces more than the tight urban metro, but it could easily fill both roles, making it a fun and versatile choice for different riders. What are some reasons to look elsewhere with the Himiway Zebra? Weight would be the primary concern for most users. The overall size and heft of the bike will affect smaller riders, and it is a factor for storage and transport. Urban riders who don't venture off-road will find the oversized tires too much for their needs unless you face snow on a regular basis. The Zebra is one of those e-bikes that can feel very different when you're maneuvering it unpowered versus when you have the full 750 watts of assist. Now let's take a look at the frame and geometry. The Zebra features a strong aluminum frame with some serious reinforcement going on. It's got several high-stress sections that have been taken care of, and the frame welds look ready to take some serious abuse. With a 400-pound max cargo capacity, the bike is really ready to carry, and it's reminiscent of a bulked-out mountain bike frame. The Zebra has a sloped top tube with a slight body forward position as a riding stance, and the frame also has various attachment points for front and rear racks, as well as fenders and other accessories. The front fork on the Zebra is a 100mm coil suspension fork with a preload adjustment and lockout. And while it's not as smooth as an air fork, the coil is well sized for the bike and offers a much more comfortable ride over rough terrain than without one. Despite its lack of rear suspension, I was impressed with the bike's ability to absorb bumps and uneven terrain even when you're at speed. Now let's take a look at the motor. A 750 watt brushless rear hub motor powers the Zebra, and it's capable of delivering up to 86 Newton meters of torque. This results in more than enough power to tackle any hill that your ride's going to throw at you, with the bike easily conquering our hill tests. It's always great to feel the power of a 750 watt motor, and the Zebra was no exception. The motor was powerful enough to ride the bike with only throttle, and it will climb a surprisingly steep grade with no rider assistance. I had a great time riding the bike through tighter trails using only the throttle as I used my legs to maneuver the heavy bike more effectively. In our acceleration tests, we achieved a pretty good time of 0 to 20 with pedal assist max at 9 seconds and a 0 to 20 with throttle only of 10 seconds. In 0 to 25 of those same, we did a pedal assist of 14 seconds and a throttle only of 19 seconds. Now let's take a look at the cockpit and control of the unit. It's featuring a cockpit that's pretty standard for these bikes. We see many shared components from other builds that we've featured, including a set of these non-locking leather kind of ergonomic grips, some Tektro hydraulic levers, and Shimano tourney shifter, which keeps things centered around entry-level components that are simple and fairly reliable. A large Himiway branded black and white LCD display is located in the center of the bars, and it offers easy to read info. The display offers the standard information that you're going to find on a lot of units, which include your speed, trip and total mileage, top speed, power output, and battery information. The battery is displayed as a 5-bar graphic, and I don't see an option to show a percentage, which would be a nice feature. The battery gauge was reliable and simple to use with no real fluctuation of the unit. The display also has a USB connection to keep your phone charged while you're out riding. Controlling the display is a simple 5-button control pad on the left side. It has clear functions for each button, which is very easy to use. Holding down the negative button will activate the walk mode, moving the bike slowly to assist you when you're walking on a hill. You can access the advanced user settings with a code, and it's not easy to see what they all do because of how they're displayed, so we're not going to get into that here. But if you're interested in those settings, grab the manual or check out some of the other videos, as there's a ton of other riders who have detailed what you need to do and what all those codes mean so that you can change some of those more advanced settings. Now taking a look at the battery. The Zebra is powered by a large 48 volt, 20 amp hour or 960 watt hour battery, which uses Samsung or LG cells, and this is a UL certified for safety. The large capacity battery is nicely paired to the 750 watt motor, and with the bike weighing in at almost 80 pounds, it's essential. The large battery can push the bike a long distance at its maximum assist level. We completed a great range test on the Zebra of just under 35 miles at maximum assist. And lowering that assist level will definitely increase the total range, with the brand claiming a max of 80 miles. Taking a look at that charger, the battery removal, and the keys. We have a Himiway branded charger, which supplies a 3 amp 48 volt input. And it's a step up from other 2 amp chargers that we'd normally see supplied with other bikes. However, the charger still takes a reasonable amount of time to recharge the battery, with a total charge time of 6 to 8 hours from a depleted battery, so it's far from a fast charge. The bike is supplied with 2 keys, and they're required for removing or inserting the battery. Battery removal involves inserting and turning the key, and then using the knob, which is located above the battery, to release the battery from the frame. The large battery can get a little stuck behind the fork, so just ensure that the fork is straight when you're doing this. The battery slides right back in the same way, so long as the key is inserted in the lock and turned. Without the key, the battery will not go back into the bike. The battery can be removed for charging, or the bike supports charging while the battery is mounted using the external charging port. A rubber seal protects this charge port. Now taking a look at the drivetrain on the Himiway Zebra. And this is a pretty standard drivetrain for the price point and its intended use. We're seeing a 170mm 46 tooth front crankset and a 7-speed 14 to 28 tooth rear freewheel. The bike uses a mixed group set consisting of a Tourney SL-TX50 shifter and an Altus rear derailleur. The drivetrain on the unit seems to be well paired to the capability and top speed of 25 miles per hour, and we're not experiencing a lot of ghost pedaling while we're riding, and at the lower speeds we're able to still pick up speed even though the bike is fairly heavy. So it's been well sized, and we've got a good selection of gears on the back, even though we're only seeing a very entry-level set of components with a 7-speed rear freewheel. Now it's time to take a look at the brakes. We've got a set of Tektro HD E350 hydraulic brakes, which are providing reliable stopping power and a pleasant lever feel. Having hydraulic brakes is a significant upgrade from mechanical ones, and when you have a bike that's this heavy and powerful, it's more of a requirement rather than an upgrade. I personally enjoy the HD E350 on pretty much every bike that I find it on, and I think that it has a reliable 2-piston caliper coupled to a Tektro 180mm rotor, and it's well suited to the powerful adventure bike that we're finding it on. The lever feel is pleasant and sensitive enough that you can easily modulate pressure to keep the wheels from locking up. So overall, I'm a big fan of these Tektro brakes. Now looking at the wheels, tires, and fenders. We have a set of black aluminum double-walled rims, which sit inside Kenda 26x4-inch Crusade tires and give a firm sense of traction in most conditions. The large 4-inch tire allows for air pressure adjustment to ensure you can get maximum traction and comfort from the bike. The tires can easily float over loose terrain and offer great comfort on bumps and uneven ground. I was impressed with the tire's performance in all conditions, including off-road and during our brake test. Our test unit came with front and rear fenders, and currently it seems that all the Zebra models are being sold with an add-on package for free, which includes this rear rack and fenders. The fenders are made from hard plastic with an aluminum attachment point, and they seem functional and robust, and they don't make too much noise or contact when you're riding off-road. If you plan on going for some severe off-road trips, removing the fenders and rear rack could make the bike lighter, and it would probably be more capable and enjoyable. But you are going to get more dirt on you. The Zebra has a bright dual LED front headlight and a taillight which is attached to the rear rack. The taillight also blinks when you're braking, which is an excellent signal to drivers, and I noticed that other road users were giving me a little bit of extra distance as I started to slow down to take a turn. The front LED is bright and allows for night riding without an additional light source. Having a dedicated button on the control pad was also really lovely, making it easy to click on that light quickly without having to think about which button you're supposed to hold down. The bike features motor cutoff switches on each brake lever to ensure you can come to a fast stop. And there are reflectors that are supplied with the bike for the front and rear facing driver awareness. You also have reflectors on the pedals, as well as an integrated reflective halo on each side of the tires. Those reflectors, combined with the lights, mean this bike should be no problem for nighttime riding. The kickstand on the Himiway Zebra is a standard single-sided kickstand, and it's very simple to use and offers no issues during testing, so this is just your standard kickstand. Finally, we're getting to the end and we're taking a look at the contact points on the Himiway Zebra. Starting off with the grips. For the grips, we have that same faux leather slip-on grip that we see very often on these bikes, and I'm really not a fan. So while they're not the worst, I do dislike how they can slip around on the bars, and it would take a set of lock-on grips over them any day, but they are enough to get you out riding, and I think I've said something about this on most reviews. So we'll move on from there and take a look at the pedals on it. Again, on the pedals, we've got a pretty typical set of flat Welgo platform pedals. They're simple and an efficient way to connect your feet to the bike, but they are a budget item that we see on a ton of builds. So it's a pretty typical item, but I do find that those pegs provide sufficient grip and they're just fine to get you out riding. The saddle is a Selle Royale seat, which is supplied with the bike, and it's pretty large and offers some reasonable cushioning. Now, I did find that while it was very comfortable, it was especially comfortable when coasting on the bike. After you've been riding for an extended period, I did find that there was some discomfort pedaling as the larger seat surface could start to make some pressure points on my glutes when I was pedaling from a seated position for a long time. So maybe a little bit of discomfort for some users over time with that saddle. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a fun, versatile bike that can zip you along at high speed, then this could be the bike for you. The Himiway Zebra offers really pleasant off-road comfort in a hardtail e-bike, including some really nice features to ensure you get the most stability and riding enjoyment over mixed terrain. So whether you plan to ride pavement, gravel, or wide open fields, this bike will have a smile on your face and the ground moving under you. Is this bike for you? Check out the detailed specs at bikeride.com and see user and expert reviews. You can also check out other great e-bikes and see them rated to find your perfect match. Do you have a question or something you want to say? Let me know in the comments so we can start getting you some answers. And if you like this video, please leave us a like and subscribe so that we can bring you more great e-bike and bike content. As always, I'm Scott with bikeride.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the ride.